Welcome back to the Ethan Clerc Podcast Show. Big entrance there. We got a great show for you tonight. If you are tuning back in for the first time, this is a show about society, culture, the weird things around us, and pretty much anything we want to talk about. Tonight we have a great guest, but before we introduce him, I want to introduce my two side hosts. The guy with the cool haircut, Tylan Porath.
Yeah, thanks for the nice compliment there.
Of course.
Happy to be here.
And Clout Glass Man himself, American man himself.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Cloudy with a chance. Colin Clare, my brother. Wouldn't be a show without him. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the man of the hour. I would say man of the year. Dane Nielsen.
I don't know. That's a lot to live up to. Man of the hour, then it went to man of the year.
Man
I'm
of
sitting
the
next
year.
to Captain America over here, cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
You know, well, thank you. I appreciate you having me here this evening to do the podcast.
Of course.
Great opportunity, and I'm excited to talk about some different topics.
Awesome. Well, before we get into anything, I think people kind of have to know a little bit about you. So why don't you give everyone a little bit of a background of what your day-to-day looks like and what you do around Windom.
Yeah, day-to-day. Well, I'm the Activities Director and Community Education Coordinator for Windom Area Schools. I've been doing that the last 4 years. During the school year, fall, winter, spring, it's quite busy. Oftentimes I'm basically at school from 12 to 15 hours a day, or around Windom. You know,
Yeah.
Could be at the golf course. For a golf meet. It could be down at the football field. You guys know that from being at school over the years. But wherever there is an activity or an event that is involving Windom students, most certainly more so on the athletic side, I'm probably there, and I'm probably setting it up and trying to at least help it go around. So
awesome. Well, and to kind of give people a background of how we know Dane, obviously from school, but Dane has also helped us with other projects outside of school. He was the car crash master himself for Cottonwood, even though we couldn't really get.
I'm glad it all worked out. It worked out.
I'm glad no one got killed.
Yeah,
and he was the one sending it off.
I was the one sending it off with my daughter standing there around the corner, who was 10 years old, and I thought it's gonna hit the corner and go around and kill them all.
Yeah, Dane. What we did was we put a brick on the accelerator. This is for our fourth feature film, Cottonwood. We had to crash a car, and Dane was out there to help, and we put a brick on the accelerator. And Dane's job was to hit the car from neutral in the drive with a piece of wood.
Yep.
And then the car just went down the road going nuts. And
however it wanted.
Yeah, and it ended up going way off course. And I was kind of right in the path of it, but I kind of jumped out of the way a little bit.
I didn't realize you were that mobile.
Hey, Colin was the one that sprinted out of there.
Oh, yeah.
He's a smart one.
Cross country paid off.
Rocket feet.
I said we're getting the shot or we're not getting anything. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
But anyway, Dane also was an actor in Cottonwood, so we got to give you huge thanks for that and just helping us out because
changed my life.
Yeah,
that gig and that movie changed my life. Around Windom, the people that saw that and thought it was just very impressive. They've continued to ask if I've received any calls.
They'll eventually come.
Any other,
They'll eventually come.
He's the original radar gun.
Radar gun.
Yes.
Radar gun.
And I appreciate it. It was great. I'm glad you asked. It was amazing to be a part of that and see some of the behind the scenes things.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I have kids at home, 3 kids, but Soren and Anya were incredibly intrigued by the film and how it went down and things like that. And you guys were all nice enough too to kind of let them see some of the scenes once in a while that we did. So and they just thought it was amazing. As a matter of fact, now that the DVD is at our house, they have watched it numerous times.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun.
For the first time introducing this to the public, we actually got accepted into the Fort Myers Beach Film Festival. That's the first one we submitted to, first one we got in, and that'll be coming up at the end of the month in April. I think me and Dalton are actually going to head out there and attend the film fest, and we're opening up on Friday night. We're the headliner, so that'll be kind of cool. I have no idea what's going to happen with that, but this is the first time releasing to the actual general public about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you
that.
so much.
That's tremendous. So Fort Myers, Florida?
Yep, Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay, now if you need radar gun to go with, I'd gladly take a little bit of time and go with. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll have people cover the school stuff.
That's awesome.
So that would be the weather there is probably a little better.
Oh yeah,
right now.
We got a storm coming this weekend. Forget about it.
12 inches.
Had enough of this. Yeah. It's not good. We're in the blizzard warning now.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Warning now. So they just within the last couple hours put us in that. So
well, by the time this podcast airs, we'll be in the middle of it. So whatever we're dealing with right now, people, in the future, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
forget about it.
Not
but
good.
what were we gonna say?
Not good
Not
at
good.
all.
Oh, no.
Especially when you're the activities director and you haven't had a single spring sport go on yet.
Oh
so.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like I was saying, it was awesome to have Dane help with that and to get into that film festival. Who knows what could come from the film now after it's out to film critics and everything. It could go really good. It could go really bad. But we got in, and that's already an accomplishment on its own.
Absolutely.
So
and you have to make those steps and do those things and put yourself out there in order to have success.
Yeah,
so.
make connections, meet people, and that's what me and Dalton are hoping to do when we go out there is meet a bunch of people and, see what happens next. Maybe someone wants to do another movie. Get Radar Gun back in it.
That'd be tremendous.
Awesome. Well, let's get on to the topic of the night tonight, and we want to talk about a couple things. Since Dane is so familiar with sporting events and director of all these activities and everything, I thought it'd be a good topic fitting to talk about some of the issues that come up with your profession here, which includes parents getting involved in these youth activities. And I know that you've seen the effects of that in Windom and along with other communities in the area. So you kind of want to open that up and talk a little bit about what you've seen and how this can create an issue for parents and their young athletes.
Well, sure. I mean, it's really seen at all different levels too, and it depends on what we're talking about with like the ages of the kids, the athlete, whatever it might be. But parents are obviously, we all have parents. They're very passionate about things and about their kids and making sure their kids are doing great things and having great opportunities. And sometimes with sporting events that get a little heated at times, and obviously are competitive. You're competing. You're flat out competing in sporting events. Things tend to get a little heated, not only maybe on the surface with the athletes that are playing, but also in the stands with parents and things like that. Very fortunate at Windom we have a great community here, very supportive of all of the activities that go on, and we do have great parents that are completely supportive of the school, the coaches, athletes, things like that. However, have there been some disagreements over the years? As I've been on the AD job for 4 years. I'm just wrapping up my 4th year here. Sounds like I'm going to be going on to my 5th.
Return of the Dane.
It is the return. Actually, the activities director position, there's a high turnover rate. We just had the state AD conference last week, and they were talking about that, how we can retain activities directors because of the hours and just things like that. And to be quite honest, sorry for saying it, but dealing with parents, and like I said, I'm fortunate. Have I dealt with parents and issues that come up? Absolutely. There's definitely disagreements. We're not going to see eye to eye on everything. Not every decision is going to favor each and every single student athlete, whatever it might be.
Yeah, no way.
But no, there's definitely a little bit of AD turnover in my world. As a matter of fact, there's a couple in our conference that are no longer going to be with us, and that's tough because we're really close knit as ADs in the Big South Conference. There's 13 schools. We get together once a month, hash some things out, do some things, find out about things. And, we also cry on each other's shoulder because it isn't always an easy job when people are constantly coming at you, and especially because they're so passionate about their kids.
Yeah. Well, what is the turnover rate? Because you were talking about that. How
they were saying every 3 years.
Really?
AD, the average life of an AD is 3 years.
3 years.
3 years,
wow.
yeah.
That's crazy.
We have one in southern Minnesota here that 1 year.
1 year.
He went 1 year, and he decided he's done because he's not seeing his kids.
Wow.
His wife has to travel a little bit, and he is constantly at school. He, there early in the morning, and then you stay late for events and supervise those, set those up, whatever it might be. His is strictly just because he just doesn't see his family enough.
Wow.
And actually, that school is a very successful school. They've won. They've been to state tournaments and numerous things for boys and girls athletics. So they have it's
good programs.
It's good programs, but this AD just that. I got to see my kids.
How many events do you have to be out of them all?
How
often do you have to go to an event? You don't have to go to every single one, do you?
I don't have to. If I need a night off or if I have something going on, there's a lot of great people in our school system that would help out between our principals and even, and I'll throw some names out there like Mary Schaffenbuhl is a huge help to me. She's always helping with evening supervision and being at events. But people like Brian Joyce, Ryan Squires, I can go on and on. There's other people, Ron Wendorf, Coach Bobby Elwell, all of those people. If I or if I have multiple events going on, I might be over, at a hockey game at the arena, yet we're hosting a boys basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go cover one and supervise, just make sure things are going well. And that, and, it might be Coach Elwell over at the high school helping take care. But quite frankly, I go to just about everything.
Every game I always see
you
it there,
try
so.
to, but I mean, I am able. The school is very flexible with me, and they say, hey, if you need a night off, please hire someone, please get someone. You don't have to be there. They expect me to be at just about everything. I'd say 90% of all the events. And for me, the winter is the worst. Winter is tough.
Yeah.
That's the tough
rescheduling everything, I'm sure, is a nightmare.
Yeah, you know what? And that's not so bad. That's what everybody asks. Everybody says that right away about the rescheduling. And, the rescheduling, it is what it is. We're all in the same boat. We can find a date. That's just me sitting at the computer, on the phone, looking at emails, looking at a calendar, trying to find a date for a new game. That is what it is. It probably is just like the AD I was talking about earlier doesn't see the family. It's things like that are the most difficult. It's just busy. But that's the other thing. I do have to give big ups to Windom, to our administration. My kids, they're 7 and 10, and then Devin 20, obviously. But they let the kids follow me around all night. And they've grown up at the school, so that helps an awful lot. And then also when your wife is working in the district too, she coaches in the district, that helps. So it's not like we don't see each other, maybe not in some of the instances. So I have an advantage that way. But you talk about the most difficult things. It is when a parent gets upset. And maybe confronts you. In the heat of right after a game or something. I have had that where they confront and they're, quite frankly, I'll say they're pissed off at the coach. They're pissed off at, and it could be because their kid didn't play enough.
They want him fired.
Yeah, that I'm sure you have
I've had
that. Just
That's
in
one
the
of the
4
things we're
years
gonna
I've
talk
had
about.
that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There was a school, I don't know if I told you about this, Dane, but there was a school up north in northern Minnesota that the coach actually, I don't know if it was fired or he resigned, but he was so sick and tired of parents nagging him on because his kids weren't playing enough.
Okay.
And just parents getting after him and after him and after him. And he just said, I've had enough of this, and just had to quit. And he was like a coach that I brought the teams to state many times.
Were we talking about the Brainerd basketball coach?
I think it was the Brainerd basketball
coach. Yeah, the Brainerd,
coach.
that was big news around the state and with the state high school league. A lot of stuff went out on that, and it is very prevalent right now. We have coaches too. We talk about the AD profession, whatever. The coaches, there's definitely a little bit of a burnout rate, and coaches are choosing to hang it up because of that P word, parents.
Was it resigned or fired?
He was resigned. He resigned. Yeah, he just had enough. He was doing great, like you said.
Yep.
Number one, developed great relationships with the players.
Yep.
They had success on the basketball court. It was just that, you might have 15 to 18 kids on that basketball team, and he couldn't quite keep all the parents happy with playing time and things like that. And you get confronted so many times. Unfortunately, this season, you talk about basketball.
Yeah.
If you want to be a great team, you can't play everyone.
And you have to decide, what are you trying to do? The goal is always to win, and I don't, especially at probably C squad, B squad, varsity. The goal is to win.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it does not matter what sport it is. We're trying to win.
Right. What do you say to people who are like, it's all about the fun? Who cares if we win? Winning or losing, it's about having fun. And what do you say to people who say that?
Winning is fun.
I agree.
Winning is fun. Everybody likes to win. You all want to win, and I understand that too. I'll be the first one too. I was a parent on Sunday. My 4th grade daughter is playing JO volleyball.
Wow.
First year JO volleyball. We're down in Jackson playing in a tournament down there. Watching the JO volleyball 4th graders play, and they're just pouring out their heart and soul and running all over the place and getting serves and hitting it over. And the Windom JO, the Zeds team, had some success. These 4th graders, my daughter's out there, and hey, she's out there on the court quite a bit playing. Fun to watch as a parent and stuff. But they won. Then they won again.
That's more fun.
Then they won again, and it's like, and then pretty soon we're in the championship game, and pretty soon I find myself as a parent sitting there, it's like, all right, get this serve over. We got to win, let's see if we can't win. And I'm saying that to myself in my head. Now I'm trying not to do anything out loud. Like I, have seen at other schools and other areas and things like that. But you do. So you get caught up as a parent, as a player, as an athlete and stuff. You're trying to win, and those things, those tend to be fun, And quite frankly, too, not everything is fun.
No.
You know, not everything is fun. There's some hard work that that goes along with it, and
practices
things like that.
aren't always fun.
No, practices definitely aren't fun, but you have to fall in love with the process and kind of take it day by day and things like that. And anybody that's been in any activity, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, there were some days where you talk about athletics activities. Your filming that wasn't fun. Having to do scenes over and over again because somebody made a mistake, somebody messed up, and it's the same thing with any activity, with any athletic event.
You do it again and again and again until you get it right, and that's just how you get better at things.
Yes.
And then Ethan, how you said that some parents think, or some people think that it's all fun, let everyone play and have fun. Well, there's some people that are gonna have a life after high school that they're good, so they need to be playing, and like there's people watching them to move on to college and then maybe pro someday.
Yeah,
so
once it gets to the varsity level, some of the parents need to realize that these teams are trying to win.
And some people are trying to go farther in
get
life.
scholarships.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is a big thing, obviously. And the crazy thing is what it's like. 3% of high school student athletes will go on and get a college scholarship or play in college. That's a small percentage, and like you said, I totally agree. I mean, once you're to that B squad varsity level, the best players are going to play. But the thing that's tough is, especially in team sports, and that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
In team sports, when you're talking about, we'll go with Windom here. In the fall, volleyball is a team sport. Football is a team sport.
Yeah.
Now. And I'll say this because my wife coaches cross country, right? She's assistant cross country coach. Coach Nielsen, Coach Pletcher there. With those, you can only run. How many runners in your race? You have what?
5.
7.
You have 5.
7 can run, but you have 5 that will qualify that will place, right?
Yep.
So you have 7. You got to choose 7. Well, and there's 20, 25 cross country runners.
Yep.
Yes, cross country is a team sport. You have your team, but you're still out there more. It's like individually running. Yeah. But you also have that stopwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty concrete. That stopwatch is pretty concrete.
Yep.
And all right, this is my number 1 runner. This is my number 2 runner.
Yep.
It isn't that easy in football and volleyball. So that's where a lot of times coaching those sports, the football, volleyball, hockey, basketball, wrestling's kind of an individual, yet there's a team aspect to it. Gymnastics, it's the judges and scoring. There's a little individual you can kind of see, but those team ones, those are the most difficult to coach, in my opinion, and I think in probably a lot of others' opinions. And that's too where you tend to see the coaches stepping down because of
parents,
whether it's parents or the pressures or more. There's a lot. We ask more and more and more of our head coaches.
Oh yeah. Especially in smaller towns.
In smaller towns. When I was playing back in the back in the 90s, I'm starting to get a little bit older, but early 90s, mid 90s when I was playing, we didn't do anything with our coaches in the summer. You couldn't do that. And now it's expected, and I'll just talk about the boys. Hey, if you're going to play football, and if you're going to play hockey or basketball, and you're going to play baseball or whatever it might be, the coaches all want a piece of you during the summer because they have that contact period from June 1st to basically July 31st to work with their student athletes. And when it's about getting better, when it's about trying to get a quality product out on the court to make your community proud,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Windom Eagles is the lifeblood of the community. It is. I mean, there's a lot of Eagle pride in our community, a lot of history, and a lot of emotion that goes into that. So even the non-parents, I've been downtown for breakfast here in Windom, and the coffee crowd won't see me around the corner or something, and I can hear them talking about players on the team, who's good, who's bad, coaches, and then what the hell was that coach thinking? But, they don't know, and then there's little bits of rumors. They might have heard one thing from some parent when that parent was maybe not happy, So it's interesting. But those team sports, that's tough. Golf, you're going to go into golf. You guys can go out. And your score says it all. So it's pretty easy to put all right, these are my varsity players. And then if there's an issue, well, let's just have a little, who's going to take that 6th spot or whatever. You go out and play 9 holes. Low scores taking that spot. So it's a little bit easier on those coaches when it's cut and dry like that, but the team aspect's tough.
Well, and I saw something that you shared on Facebook, Dane. It was something from Iowa. It was a letter. I saw that. And I read the article, and if Dalton, you could pull that up. It was a very interesting article to me, and one part in particular that really caught my attention was the number the amount of money spent on youth sports every year, I couldn't believe how high of a number this was. And that might add something. It is the article?
Yeah, it was through the, probably not that one, but it was through the Iowa Athletics, kind of like the Minnesota State High School League. It was through the Iowa Athletics Union.
Here it is right here. Here is a letter released on Tuesday. Go back up, Dalton. Here's a letter released on Tuesday by the Iowa High School Athletic Association. And they go over a bunch of numbers, and I think some of the stuff you already mentioned, Dane, the percentage of students who get scholarships and all that, and it's crazy numbers. But the part in here that I was really interested in, let's see, the annual average budget.
Go down just a little bit, too.
Keep going down. There it is, right there.
15 billion, right?
Yep, right there.
And that's our problem.
Yeah.
That's our problem is it's adults making money off of elementary.
Yes.
That's where that's where it should be fun. We talked about having fun earlier and stuff, and winning is fun, and varsity B squad, C squads, we're trying to win. Junior high, we still want as many kids as possible playing and getting playing time and things like that. It might not be equal. That's for sure. It might not be equal, but we're going to try to get them in there a little bit in the junior high aspect of it. But when you get into, the 6th grade, the 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, that industry, that $15 billion industry,
$15 billion.
When
with
people, it's the money talking.
Yeah, with a B.
Billion.
$15 billion. Holy cow. And there was a bunch of other interesting information in here. I'd highly recommend reading this article if you're interested in anything in sports. I thought it was a very well done letter that the Iowa High School Athletic Association did.
It was interesting. My colleague, I saw that on Facebook on some social media. My colleague down the road shared that, and I read it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I shared it too. It's just food for thought. Interesting things. But hey, we just had you talk about $15 billion industry, right? We have a good wrestling program. Co-op with Mountain Lake, and they just had a couple weeks back, huge wrestling tournament that we host, kind of this Lions wrestling tournament. It's a qualifier for youth, basically. I can't remember what the lowest age is, if it's like 1st grade or whatever, up to about 8th grade. And then ours is a qualifying site, and our facility can barely handle it. Our blue gymnasium and the foyer and the bathrooms can barely handle it because there's so many.
How many people?
Parents there. Oh, I know. The one we just had, we had some weather problems.
Yeah, I remember
Saturday,
that.
The snowstorm a few weeks, like 2 weeks back.
And there was supposed to be a ton of people coming.
There was supposed to be tons and tons, and Nick Kulseth kind of helps to run this thing as he coaches, but there's supposed to be just not hundreds, thousands of people come for it from all over.
It's unbelievable.
There's no place to sit in the gym. They have all the mats going, and our gym holds 2,000. Our blue gym holds 2,000 people, and there's no place to sit in the gym.
Like I was driving by, and all the parking lots and down the street,
down all the streets.
Was that still with the weather problems?
And that was still with the weather problems this year. But in years past, when we haven't had that, and I wasn't there this year. But I'll show up once in a while and check it out, see if everything's going smooth. I was up at the state basketball tournament this year when that was going on, watching a little bit of that. But 2 years ago when I was there, you talk about, I'll throw this one out there, crazy parents, maybe something that I didn't necessarily agree with. Okay, so wrestling, you're weighing in, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you're a 4th grader, 5th grader, 6th grader, who cares what your weight is? Whatever you weigh, that's what you're going to wrestle at. But you got to weigh in and make the weight.
Yeah.
And this kid was, scheduled to wrestle at this weight. And they were weighing in, and they kind of, these wrestlers, they're going on checking their weight all the time before the official weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
Scales are out, and they're checking it like hour before or whatever. This kid, he was a 5th grader, I would say. That's approximate, 10, 11 years old. He didn't make his weight. He was over by it was 0.5.
Oh, come on.
Okay. His dad, and it's early, hardly before anybody is there, his dad has him put on a snowsuit. He's got a winter snowsuit. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. And he has him running laps around the gym.
No way.
And every time he came back to him, he had to spit in the cup to do whatever they could to get rid of that 0.5 pounds before.
Did he pull it off?
And I have no idea if they pulled it off, because what actually bothered me about it was, you know, and I know you're going to get the other extreme. Hey, we need to toughen him up. He needs to be tough and be able to handle this adversity and do this and that. Yeah. This 5th grader was crying while he was running, and he was saying, "Dad, no more, please stop. I can't do anymore." Yeah, and the dad's like, "More." And there's, you know, the gym isn't full yet. They're there early, but there's still people around.
Oh, yeah.
And there's people getting ready to weigh in and things like that. And the kid is crying, making the laps, and I'm just like, I wanted to go say something. Maybe it's not my place. I maybe could understand if, you know, maybe we're talking about a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader. They know, they understand, they didn't make weight. All right, I got to run this off. But then it was the dad there, because then he's going, "Dad, please, no more." And it's the dad making him, you know, it's like, ay, 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 and he's crying, and, "No more, no more." So I don't know if he got rid of the 0.5, but all I know is he had a snowsuit on. And he was running laps, and he was spitting in a cup every lap. So.
Well, let's look at some crazy parents, because you're talking about crazy parents. We're not even on the level of crazy parents.
Oh, this is nuts. This video is insane.
Now, this is a hockey dad at a hockey game. His son, the team's losing. Dalton, can we get this video going? This is unbelievable. He's getting out of here. Dad comes down.
Uh-oh. Is he walking? Oh,
he just smashed through the glass.
Didn't even phase him. He's still pointing out there on the ice. I've never seen this one.
Oh, my gosh. And this is a young – look at those guys.
They are young.
This is probably 4th, 5th grade hockey.
Did he slam his arm against it?
And this is another thing.
Broke the glass.
How could he break that glass? That is very thick, or it's supposed to be, unless they're using
Well, it's his left hand. He must have a wedding ring on there, and it got it just right. Yep, just got it just, you know, once in a while. Oh, my goodness
Now,
gracious.
if something like this were to happen in Windom, what are the steps that you would have to take to deal with a parent like this? Is the kid in trouble? Is the dad in any – I mean, obviously –
So is there there's a fight going on out there?
I think
there's a cheap shot.
Yeah, something like that.
And this gets tough, you know, and with hockey – unfortunately, it's a little ingrained into the culture on the ice that those things happen. You know, there are going to be little hits and things, and people take offense to. But in a situation like that, number one, that's why I'm at every event, because then that turns into my job to go and get the parent, and it doesn't matter what team, if it's a Windom or an opposing whatnot, to go get the parent and just say, you know, "Hey, sir, come on. You got to step with me." And basically, not a lot of talking is going to go on in that situation at that point, because he's got to cool down a little bit. Yeah. It's just a matter of removing him from that area and getting him away.
And for something like that, you'd have to get the police involved. If he's damaging property and creating an issue, a security issue, that would be something where you got to call the police right away and get them down here and have them deal with him.
Maybe this one.
Those instances do happen. I'll tell this story. This is going to be good. You guys will love this one.
Okay.
Because it is personal, and I'll tell this one. And it does deal with Windom, and it deals with Windom hockey. And our oldest, Devin, played hockey. Had a very successful hockey career. He loves hockey. Just enjoyed everything about hockey, and loved playing hockey, and very passionate about it. And my wife's side of the family, they're a hockey family. My side was more basketball. I tried to convert Devin. It didn't work out. That's fine. I enjoyed watching Devin play hockey. I loved watching him play, and he did a great job. He worked his tail off. But some of those hockey games, you know, and they do get heated out there. People are trying to win. It's the varsity level or whatnot. Yeah. I am. It's Devin's junior year, and I'm activities director.
Yep.
Kind of his junior year, I didn't go to every single game. Some of the away games I didn't make, especially if we had activities going on back at Windom.
Sure, yeah.
So this particular night, I stay back in Windom. My wife goes, Soren and Anya are along, and Devin's playing hockey up in Waseca. It got a little heated out on the ice, and it was towards the end of the game. Ooh. So it got a little chippy, got a little heated. Our Windom fans start kind of yelling and chirping and maybe saying some inappropriate things. Okay, so I'm in Windom. There's a basketball game going on. All of a sudden, my cell phone rings. Yep. I see it's the AD from Waseca. I'm thinking, we're close. You know, we talk a lot. I'm thinking he's just calling to razz me, say something. We've done that in the past. We get really close as ADs and have fun. But he calls and said, "Hey, I just need to let you know we had a bit of an incident up here. I had to remove one of your fans from the arena at the end, towards the end of the game. He got really, really lippy and was saying some inappropriate things." And I kind of started laughing, and I said, it was probably my father-in-law. And he goes, "I don't know, whatever." I said, "Well, was he wearing a brown leather jacket?" "Yeah." "Does he kind of salt and pepper gray hair?" "Yeah." does he have a mustache? Yeah.
Oh, no.
I went, oh, my gosh. I said, Joe, that's my father-in-law. He goes, I'm so sorry. So yeah, my father-in-law was removed from a hockey game.
Oh, my gosh. So it hits close to home to sometimes.
It does hit close to home sometimes, and can you imagine that? Then I had to have that conversation with my father-in-law about, hey, maybe don't get kicked out of hockey games. There was a little awkwardness there for a little while.
Dang, well, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We have a commercial break for you. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Business, Arts, and Recreation Center in Windom. Let me give you a tour. We have a large gymnasium for basketball and volleyball and any sports needs. Shh, we have a library. We have multiple conference rooms for interviews, corporate events, and meetings. We have a dance studio. We have all that and much more at Bark of Windom.
Well, welcome back to the Ethan Clerc Podcast Show. We are here with Dane Nielsen, and we've been talking about sports and parenting. Parents get involved in youth sports and everything. We're going to start with a video here that is something that's happened close to home, and we're going to try to watch this video here if we can. It's in Blue Earth, Minnesota. Let's see what's going on here.
4 Faribault County high school football players are facing felony charges. They're accused of beating an underclassman to the point of unconsciousness. And today, 2 of the accused students entered their pleas in court. They're preparing to go to trial. Catherine Johnson was in juvenile court for those hearings today, and she explains what happens next.
We aren't naming the 2 juveniles who are involved in this alleged attack, but we did give them, their parents, and their attorneys an opportunity to speak with us. All of them declined for now. And the Blue Earth Area School District has yet to answer my questions as well.
Court documents say the victim recalled being pushed down and punched in the face. He became unconscious. It's only a small part of the alleged felony-level beating involving 4 high school football players at an October party. 2 of the defendants, Dalton Nagel and Wyatt Tungland, are 18. The other 2 are 16 and 17. In juvenile court on Monday in Faribault County, the 2 youngest student athletes pleaded not guilty to third-degree assault and aiding and abetting, and trial dates are scheduled to be set at their next hearings.
I'm afraid the investigation is still ongoing, and so I can't comment at this point. However, the investigation will be coming to a close eventually, and once everything's out in the public, I would be happy to talk about it.
The 2 underage defendants' families left court quietly as well. But with so many questions still to be answered, we do know some of the kids allegedly involved were still allowed to play in the state semifinal game, even though this game happened after the school district became aware of the alleged assault and police had started the investigation.
The 2 adult students tied to this case are also due back in court later this month, and we'll continue following this story as the investigation itself is still underway, and Blue Earth Area Schools has yet to respond to my questions.
Wow.
In Blue Earth, Catherine Johnson, 5 Eyewitness News.
Now this was
Weeks ago, the Winnebago police chief called for a
this story was picked up nationwide.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And Blue Earth is about an hour from Windom, so it kind of hits close to home. Something like this could happen anywhere.
It could, and interesting enough, Blue Earth Area AD, activities director, the same guy that holds my position, has turned into a close friend over the last 4 years. We just spent a lot of time together last week.
Oh, really?
And even yesterday evening.
Wow.
At our Big South Conference kind of head coaches meeting that we had. It's tough because not a lot is out there other than what you're seeing on the news.
Yeah.
Obviously, the school district can't comment. I don't know anything, even though we have a good relationship, as he does with a lot of other ADs. And he's been doing it for many years. He's one that has stuck around, is right around being the activities director in Blue Earth for 20 years.
Oh wow! Jeez.
So he's had a good run there and does some great things. Just a super guy, super family guy, and basically pours his heart and soul into the Blue Earth Area School District and their activities and events and the community he's deeply involved in. But so I don't know a lot more than what's been out there. However, I will say this: the only thing that I have heard is there are a couple like news outlets that jumped on this story really early.
Oh yeah.
And probably quite frankly, when it's all said and done, they reported some
fake news.
Yeah, sure. If you want to go that route and say fake news, yeah, they reported some fake news because they were trying to get that scoop, and get it out there first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I do know that there's a very, very, very good chance that happened. Wow. And it just tough on that school district, and like I said, that could happen anywhere.
Yep.
The other thing I do know about this, Minnesota State High School League and the board there, the directors and stuff, they did write a letter in favor of the Blue Earth Area High School in saying that the administration, because there's a lot involved when things like that happen. If something like that would happen in Windom, it's not like it's just the activities director sitting and looking into an investigation. I mean, you've got the principals involved. In this case, you've got police involved. You've got our superintendents would be involved. There's just numerous people that are involved. As a matter of fact, it probably would go above and beyond me. But the State High School League wrote a letter saying that Blue Earth Area Schools investigated this correctly. Those players that they talked about that continued to play in
that's what I was wondering.
Things were being investigated. Some people might say, what happened to your innocent until proven guilty type thing. Mm-hmm. There was just a lot of things that you have to piece together. You can't quickly come and make a judgment on something and all this. Well, okay, yeah, absolutely, you're guilty.
Yep.
Well, then pretty soon you find out they weren't guilty, or maybe some stories were made up. I think some things maybe were fabricated here a little bit.
Who knows? Yeah.
Some of the timeline stuff that came out on that is really interesting.
Yeah.
When I read through things and piece it together, because I do, as an AD, you read through news like this, you read through what's happening in the court system with litigations and things like that. So,
especially if
we can try to avoid it.
Yeah. If it's picked up nationwide like this one, it's unbelievable for something to happen in small town Minnesota to go. I saw an article in the New York Post about this.
New York Post had this. Yeah, that was crazy. I saw that too. Little Blue Earth, Minnesota.
I didn't know it was
high
in
school
the
football
New
players.
York Post. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And the other crazy thing about this is that I was going to say something crazy, and I totally just lost my topic. To let people kind of know the background of this, because the news report kind of gives you a general thing, but for people who don't know anything about this, this is what we know so far. There were 4 football players who were at a party, and there was another guy at this party, and they beat him unconscious, took video of it, and showed it to him the next day at school. And that's what they're saying, and I don't know the official story. Like Dane said, some things might have been fabricated. But that's kind of the basic of the story.
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly who they mentioned. Some of the people are still going through court, and this is an open investigation, so we really can't say anything is concrete right now.
Well, and that's the other thing. You feel so bad because it's going to be the same thing. We can't comment right now.
Yeah.
Until all this, we can't. The school district can't comment. Everybody wants to blame the school district and point fingers and point fingers at my buddy and their principals, superintendents, whatever it might be. But they can't comment on it. And sometimes people don't understand that the data privacy, the FERPA laws and things like that.
Yeah.
You can't just go giving out this information to the public when investigations are going on, or in general, even when the investigation is done, there's things that aren't going to be given out because of the data privacy laws within the school district and things like that, and especially when you're dealing with underage students.
And a lot of these families ended up, I know the family of the kid who was abused, they had moved, and I know a couple of the other families moved too.
Yes.
They left the state.
They left. They got the heck out of there because
I had heard there was 2 that had gone to different states. One's in Iowa, one was maybe in Nebraska. One,
changed their lives, something like this.
And that's too bad, and that's just a good reminder just to students, to adults, things like that. We've talked about being in certain situations, heated situations, to try to think, because one minute, you're having fun, but in this case, it sounds like obviously they were altered because of alcohol, possibly, whatever it might be.
There could be a number of factors.
Who knows what the factor was, but you're right. One small decision like that
changed their entire family,
changed their entire life forever.
Yep.
Forever.
Unbelievable.
And, it's, something simple in the end. Hopefully everybody comes out okay, but from my perspective, when it's my buddy AD down there, I feel terrible for him because
he's probably getting fired
not fired, but
like people
fired
are
at.
Fired
at. Just a lot of things are coming down the pipe there.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
too bad for
and
him.
It's been tough. So that's the one thing about our AD group. We try to be a support staff and help out, and we're there for one another, and because these things come up, and they're tough. It's tough.
Let's look at the other video we were going to look at before the break here. It was another hockey fight. This is another interesting one. We've talked about parents getting mad at
Tylan,
coaches.
how come these are all hockey? What's up with this?
These hockey parents.
Good, yeah.
We've talked about parents. We've talked about parents against coaches, but we haven't talked much about parent against parent opposite schools. Oh, turn it down a little bit, Dalton.
When he skated by over there. Who was laughing? Your kid. Okay, so that's his fault. Yeah, get your hands out of my face. Get your hands out of my face. That's out of my face.
It gets better.
And this is actually recorded by one of the players.
Yeah, one of the players.
Hey, watch out. Get out of my face.
Oh. All right, you can cut it there, Dalton.
And this is a younger kids hockey team.
Yeah. And then at the end of this video, the hockey kids come walking through. They're going into the game, and people are giving them knuckles right through the parents fighting. I thought it was pretty funny.
Ouch.
These parents are obviously going
Psycho.
way. Yeah, they're going crazy for no reason. Just stuff like this happening. What are your thoughts, Dane, on parent against parent from opposite schools? Just especially getting physical with each other. They're on the, they're stepping on the edge here of getting involved, going to jail for like assault, something like that.
Over a little hockey competition with young kids, and as I stated earlier, well, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen things very similar to that,
which is
with
sad.
other schools, and just it happens, and it's amazing how simple competition, and quite frankly too, sometimes parents living through their student athletes,
Yep.
And it's almost as if with some of these parents too, it's like their self-worth is determined on whether their 10-year-old, 12-year-old can score that goal. Their self-worth is determined on if their kid is in the starting lineup.
Yeah, they're just really being selfish if you think about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
They think that they put out, I know like hockey and other sports, you have to put a lot of money into as a parent because you have to pay.
That's another thing.
And so they think, I'm putting all this money and I better get something out of it. And they put that all out on their kid, and they put it all on the coach.
Yep, and that happens more times than not. And you talk about that. We just said how it's a $15 billion industry, the youth athletics, and parents do. They spend a lot of money on their kids to participate in a lot of these programs to either develop them and make them better and possibly pursue the college scholarships, or just to be a part of something and to have fun.
Yeah.
Because for as many as we see, this is a small percentage.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There's. Yep. You think about how many truly athletic events go on each day, from the kindergarten level on all the way up to the pros. You think, there's millions and millions of games that go on without conflict.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to
watch something
like that and to pick that out. Could you? I couldn't imagine personally. I'm there, and maybe it was Devon's hockey game, and parent is getting in my face, or I would be getting in their face, and my 10-year-old daughter is standing right behind me watching or filming it or
filming it on their phone.
That not a proud moment for mom and dad and stuff like that.
No.
But and too often than not, it's just all about those like short-term gains. Like when we're dealing with the youth sports, it's like, we talked about it earlier, winning right now, and it doesn't matter if it's varsity level or an 8-year-old level in whatever sport it is, win right now, rather than trying to develop the athlete throughout to get better. Throughout the process, and not just. And you talk about my world too. A lot of it is measured on how many kids we have out for our activities.
Oh yeah.
People want to see student athletes out and staying out, and if a program all of a sudden where we have numbers drop down a little bit, everybody's looking at it like, well, why? What's going on?
So the football program over the years.
And that's something that is definitely a concern in Windom. There's lots of rumors going around right now. Oh my goodness gracious! Are there rumors going around about the Windom football
joining
program?
with other towns and
there's all kinds of stuff.
Joining with other towns,
and head coaches
and
all
head
that.
coaches, and we have a new head football coach. Very unfortunate that Coach Bobby Elwell's leaving, but I understand going to Redwood and getting a different job, but that's fine. But just the rumors there that surround that, and numbers wise, if we're going to have enough. But
Dalt, what's going on over there? Tylan's pretty loud right now. Tylan is number 2, Dalt.
Speaking of hockey, when I was in Pee Wee's, this kid kept hitting me and like yelling at me and stuff. Like, we're pretty small. We're in Pee-wees or whatever. So then I threw him into the net. He hit the crossbar or something. After the game, I was going back to the locker room, and a mom was blocking me, so I couldn't go there. And just sitting there yelling at me.
And maybe
like going nuts.
Maybe one of the reasons hockey is where the parents are getting mad and all that the most is because it's one of the most expensive sports.
But like I said, yeah, you spend so much money for your kids to be in it, for the gear, for the fees and everything.
There is, and that might be a small part of it. But at the same token, hockey is such a physical sport.
Yeah, and some parents don't realize, like me as a player, you have all the pads on. If someone like hit me, punched me, it doesn't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
Like, they act like, so this kid's going to break his jaw because a kid hit him.
And sometimes,
sometimes
from watching you play this year, there are, like you said, there are hits that look very vicious out there.
But they're not as bad as
they look and things like that.
I mean, if you go into the boards, like, if you could break your back, like, depending on how you hit, like Jack Jablonski.
Yeah, you got to have the Jack
He got paralyzed.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
And there's definitely some scary situations. You can imagine when little Johnny's out there skating and mom sees him kind of get into a bind or a pinch that looks a little awkward. Mm-hmm. She's definitely going to be awful nervous about that. I know I would be with any of my kids out there. Devin was in those situations, and it gets scary.
Yeah, when someone can't skate as well as that's when it gets bad.
Those things happen too.
People go and look for them kids that can't skate very well, and they're off their balance to. Mm-hmm. Boost up their level of how big they are. So,
well, speaking of hockey, we've been talking a lot about hockey.
Yeah.
We're going to start doing a segment of the week called the Bad Tweet of the Week, and we have a hockey tweet. I don't remember if I don't know if you remember.
Did I tweet it?
No.
Oh,
no,
good.
No.
I don't want to be on Bad Tweet of the Week.
This was just a couple days ago, or whatever. That Humboldt bus crash that killed a lot of the hockey players. Yeah. Some lady tweeted this crazy, awful tweet. And I'm just going to read it. I'm trying not to get cynical about what is a totally devastating tragedy, but the maleness, the youthfulness, and the whiteness of the victims are, of course, playing a significant role. This is a tweet that is not only targeting the families of this, but the race and their age and everything. This is something that is just such a sick... I mean, I don't even know. I saw this online, and I couldn't believe that someone would actually feel the need to tweet that.
Well, then 274 people liked it.
Unbelievable.
And then big number of retweets, too. So.
And that's a big thing right now is this isn't really having to do with this tweet, but parents going on social media after an event or something and taking their anger out on social media. And I don't remember who told me this, if it was a coach or something, but I heard there's a new rule about social media, and if parents go on there and say something, that their kids will actually get punished for it. Like not playing or something. Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
We don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
It might be a different town.
Yeah, it might be a different town. We don't currently have anything like that. However, there has been instances in Windom and stuff where people will take to social media. And it might be about sports and what's going on there, but about anything. Anything going on. Yeah. It's incredible how people use social media for their voice and sometimes too. I think, did you read that before you hit tweet, send, whatever, post? I'm surprised.
Well, they get behind that screen and they can just type whatever they want, and they don't realize that it's going out there to everyone.
People around them too.
And it's not going to ever be deleted.
And it's the same thing as seeing the dad break the glass, things like that. They're just doing the same thing. They're just doing it behind their screen, but the ramifications of that aren't real great.
No.
Those things happen all the time, and it's easy to sit and cast and put blame on everybody else. And there's a lot of instances where people just need to look in the mirror too.
Oh yeah.
Ethan, talking about tweet of the week, did you want to do the question thing with Dane?
Okay. This is another. We're starting some new segments with Dane this week. This is another one called "What the Fake," and we're gonna read 3 news articles. Okay. And one of them is not real. It is your goal to guess which one is not the real article.
Okay.
We'll start with article 1 right here.
Yep.
Now, Dalton, can we get full screen for this one? Down there in the corner. There it is. All right. This is suspect hiding from cops calls 911 for rescue. So, a Utah man locked himself in a church boiler room, and after not being able to get out for 6 hours, he decided to call the police and have them come get him. And they were looking for him because he was actually the suspect in a rash of burglaries in the area. And so they came and got him, and they sent the SWAT team in. And
so he's probably breaking into all these places, but then he can't break out when he's actually stuck.
That's incredible.
So he went to jail. All right, our second article here. Man lives off of one vitamin a day, and he's healthy. Now, this is about a California man who apparently takes 1 vitamin a day and drinks a lot of water, and apparently he's able to stay healthy. And there's a thing in here about a UCLA doctor who says it's definitely possible, and he sees how this is something that could be done. So the 1 vitamin a day man.
1 vitamin a day. All
and
right.
our third article.
He looks healthy.
He does look healthy. Our third article for you. Oh, this is a classic one, of course. This guy didn't know how to unload his gun, so he decided the only way he could figure out was to unload the gun by shooting it at his neighbor's house. So when the cops showed up, they were like, "What are you doing?" And they actually arrested him, and he said, "I didn't know how else to unload my gun, so I just shot it at my neighbor's house."
Wow.
So one of those is fake.
One of these
2
articles
are real.
is fake, and 2 are real. Which one, Dane? Is it the man who called the police on himself, even though he's wanted? Is it the 1 vitamin a day man, or is it the guy who unloaded his gun by shooting it at?
It's sad because they're all ridiculous.
Or was
They
it
should all be fake. But,
Or was it the man who shot the gun?
Well, I'm gonna
at his
process
neighbor's house?
of elimination here. The guy that locked himself or got stuck in the boiler room, that's so real. I mean, what a what a doofus. Okay, so that one's out. That's real.
You're saying that's
really
real.
did that.
Okay.
Oh, he did that.
Okay.
He did that. Idiot. Okay, next one.
A wanted criminal, Dane.
So basically I'm going to go between firing at the neighbor's house. He couldn't unload his gun. Why are you going to... Or the one...
Unbelievable.
Okay,
One of these is made up.
The made up one is the 1 vitamin a day. That dude's not living off 1 vitamin
Can we
a
pull
day.
up that article, Dalt?
Oh, no.
I'm going to read the entire thing here, and we will kind of discuss this.
Okay.
Carl Simpson, of Wrightwood, California, has lived off of 1 vitamin for the past 5 years. 1 vitamin and a couple glasses of water a day is all I need at my age, says Simpson, comically. Simpson describes his vitamin diet as simple living. Simple living is a trend that has been booming online over the past couple of months. Simpson is among thousands of people on a Facebook community who like living without much. You may wonder if this is even possible. Well, Dr. David Geffen of the UCLA explains it. It really is something that is not that unbelievable. Simpson is at an age where he needs a very minimal intake of food. As long as he's drinking lots of water and his daily supplements, there is no reason he would not need he would need much more. Simpson does claim he does get hungry once in a while, but that does not stop him from his diet. He claims he will continue to follow this diet as long as he stays healthy. I have not had any medical issues since I have started, and he claims Simpson is a simple man and he likes it that way.
Does he have bowel movements? I mean, does this
know.
guy even have bowel movements?
Are you still thinking this is the fake article, Dane?
I'm going with that one. I don't know. I
And-
maybe need a little bit more information about it.
Oh.
You know, and apparently I'm a doctor from UCLA too, but no,
Ethan, you better break him the news.
I'm going with that one.
He is correct. Dane is
Was I?
correct.
Okay,
That is
good,
that story is not real.
They're all ridiculous.
They're
though.
all
They
ridiculous.
are very ridiculous.
But the 1 vitamin a day is apparently too ridiculous to believe.
But
the guy who unloaded his gun by firing
you're
it.
really that's actually scary. It's kind of sick. I love the one about getting locked in the boiler room.
Yeah, that's
I can
funny.
just see that.
Especially
That's,
because he was breaking into people's houses.
No,
too.
especially because he's a wanted criminal.
Wanted criminal
Hey,
calls
his
911.
only option was to call the police to come save him or whatever. Oh,
He has no. I mean, you got to find someone in your contacts.
If that was me,
All right?
Yeah, why are you
I mean,
calling
you got to
the
have
police?
somebody in your contacts
if
you
that was
can
me,
call other than
at
911.
least you could just wait until the guy comes in there. Like,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, they
boiler,
got to
and
do
then
the
leave.
boiler check. You
Yeah,
know, I mean,
right.
if you're at school,
The
our
boiler
custodians,
Park, they do it
you know,
every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gary
Yeah,
was
they go-
bound to
they're
come in
coming.
there sometime.
yeah, unbelievable. Well, that
Calling
is our
911.
What the Fake is that segment, and Dane got it correct. So wow, congratulations! First time we did it,
Hey,
he got it right.
thanks.
Unbelievable.
Thanks.
I like that. I like that one.
You like that one?
And I'll say this then. Unfortunately, we've been talking about youth sports. Do we have time?
Oh yeah, we got time.
7 minutes.
So then, because I won, I'm going to ask this like I've heard at many 3rd and 4th grade tournaments, 5th and 6th grade tournaments. Just heard this the other day
Unbelievable.
from a parent. They won this tournament. They better be getting something for that.
Oh gosh. Gosh, we could talk. We could talk about.
Why do you have to have a ribbon or a medal just because you get first or second or third?
Go buy him a cookie at McDonald's.
What? How about just honor the game? You got to be there. You got to have fun playing the game.
Exactly.
You got to spend time with friends and teammates. You got to work hard at it.
Yeah,
you got a little exercise, improvement.
Well, it's the generation of.
And I heard that the other day.
What is it? What do they call that? We're the generation that expects. Like an award for everything, an award for everything, or a ribbon, or a participation medal.
It's the participation thing, but this wasn't. See, that's the problem too. I have a problem when, whether it's people my age or older, complain about your generation.
Yeah.
When we're the ones leading the way for you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't want to complain about the generation.
Kids haven't changed.
Yeah.
Kids haven't changed.
I don't want to complain about the generation, but there's definitely a change in the culture of sports and how people expect to be awarded for everything.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's been something that's happened for a long time, and it's gradually became worse.
Because of the $15 billion industry, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, part of the ribbon is the part of the $15 billion industry. You know,
the award.
Just all of the above. So
we'll definitely have to get Dane on here again.
Anything. I don't need anything for winning, though.
Oh, Dalton, can you hold on to the trophy for him, please?
Hang on, I don't need that. I just appreciate being here.
We'll burn that thing.
As I was saying, we definitely have to get Dane on here again because we didn't even get into our one topic about teachers and students.
There's more, and maybe there might be an article that we could pull up. One more sporting event thing here. Holy smokes! We don't want to pull up this one.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of
that's
the
not
topic.
Oh my God! Whoa! Can we go? Can we keep going here? Okay, we're not getting much better. Keep going. All right, here we go. A lack of parent after 3 sex student athlete. Never mind.
That's the topic I was talking about.
Can we go back up to the top? A lack of parent engagement helps create failing schools. Well, this is an interesting article. I didn't read this one. What is this about here? Among the nations of the world, the U.S. ranks 14th in science, 17th in reading, and 25th in math. Yet one still reads about immigrants giving up their previous jobs as professors and accountants to move to the U.S. Why are people coming here if we're 17th?
Those are all skewed, though. I mean,
what do you mean?
It's skewed, the numbers in our rankings and things like that. I mean, they're skewed. I mean, you go to the other countries and all of their top students are being tracked in, and they're the only ones taking some of these tests to get these numbers, things like that, where we don't do that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're testing everybody, getting those numbers. We don't necessarily, in public education anyway, like, you know, my dad's an immigrant of Denmark.
Oh yeah.
You know, totally, and he's got a friend here from Denmark for the next 2 weeks that's visiting him. Was he out there? Yep. But I mean, talk about when they're going through school over there, they're tracking their way through, and things are a lot different. So, like, numbers wise, that stuff.
Talking to some foreign exchange students over the years, though, I always ask them if they like America and what's different and all that, and they just tell me how easy it is.
A lot easier
compared to
easier.
what they're used to and how their schooling is over there.
Yeah, but you know what? They're all coming over here to our universities and things like that because what they're not getting is the creative aspect.
Mm-hmm, true,
and some of the problem type solving aspects.
They're also,
and again, that's a lot of my opinion too. So.
They're also not always in, like, they come over as 11th graders, like, in our system, but they're also, like, being in some of the 9th grade classes.
Sure. Yep.
Like that. So I mean,
yeah, a little different.
It's hard to compare.
It is. It is difficult to make a fair comparison.
Yeah.
There,
I was talking to a senior that came here from a different country, and he was saying that he was at like a private school in his country. And he works on school all day.
Yeah.
They have lots of homework, and it's very difficult. It depends where you're at, I guess.
Here's an interesting stat that we could kind of end it off with. Only about 1/5 of parents consistently attend school programs. That is interesting, to me at least, because 1/5, I mean, I don't know the number of parents of students in the United States, but 1/5 is quite a few. I mean, that aren't attending their own students' things. And we've been talking about parents and the negative effects, but there's also a ton of positive effects of parents getting involved with their students in sports
you know it. Absolutely.
and programs.
Yeah.
And so that's a kind of a scary number that there are a lot of parents who don't even care.
I wouldn't say that statistic is true for around here.
It is not true.
This is for the entire
No,
United
I'm just
States.
saying.
But that's good. I mean, if you
here.
want to try to compare, Windom is not even close to that. We do
No.
have great support. I mean, whether it's for athletics events, fine arts events, school nights, open houses, things in the community. I mean, we do have great support.
Yeah, I'd say the whole Big South Conference definitely has a
general,
great support.
Around here, I think it's all the parents and then people that used to be in the sport, and they're coming back to watch what they
but definitely involved in the community, the activities that are going on, our school.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, geez, the musicals, the fall musical, the winter musical.
Yeah.
I mean, sold out every single night that they do it almost.
Yeah.
And it's just tons of things.
It is. We have a great community in Windom and a great community of listeners. And I just want to thank everybody so much for tuning in to watch. We've had a great conversation here with Dane Nielsen. I want to thank you for coming on.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thanks,
and we got to talk about some really cool stuff. And I think we didn't get to talk about a lot more. So I'm hoping you'd be interested in coming back on in the future.
Anytime.
And we can dive back in and get back into the topics. So thanks everyone for watching. If you have any suggestions for topics or people you want to see on here, comment that in the description and make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube. Until next time, this is the Ethan Clerc Show.